Hello, my friends. Welcome to New Kids with a Shop, brought to you by the Arcade Comics, Collectibles, and Games, located in a very, very, very sunny Fort Wayne, Indiana. I am Matt Cade.
And I'm Craig Gray. And this is Free Comic Book Day. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to New Kids with the Shop. Today's episode is called Free Comic Book Day. We are joined by Shayne Pace.
Great to be here.
And we are going to be discussing, today's going to be a hodgepodge of items. We're going to discuss the Guardians of the Galaxy release, which is actually today on day of recording. A brief history on Free Comic Book Day and what it means to all the stores and all the people involved. And then actually, today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about a super cool deck building game called Injustice by Cryptozoic that was just released today. But we'll get into that later. We're going to start it off.
Is that based on the DC game or just Injustice in general?
It's based on the lore of Injustice.
Man.
Yes. But you guys, you got to wait. I understand you're impatient, but we got to wait. You got to wait. So, Guardians of the Galaxy. You got your tickets, right, Matt?
I do have my tickets.
Shayne, you got your tickets?
Yes, IMAX tomorrow. IMAX 2D, the way Jesus watches movies. IMAX 3D.
That's
get
awesome.
out of here.
So, I'd like to, I might be able to get going this weekend, but I've got other plans and things like that going on. There's already...
We got children, y'all.
Yeah. So, I'm hoping to see it. The reviews are in. Appears to be strong. Nolan went and saw it actually last week.
And then last night he saw it again, and he still says it's his favorite.
So, I mean, it's looking good. It's James Gunn. I've heard that it's a nice ending to the trilogy. It's just, we're obviously just speculating.
Yeah, at time of recording, we don't know if Rocket lives or dies. We don't know.
Well, I mean, Nolan
how
didn't...
things end up.
Nolan didn't tell me I didn't let him spoil anything. He just said that it was very graphic watching Rocket's backstory be told on screen. And he said he was wondering about if it would be appropriate for young children to be watching this.
Huh.
That's what Nolan said. Yeah. So
the serial killers would probably enjoy it, though.
I mean, I will.
I'm in it for Will Poulter's Warlock, Adam Warlock. I can't wait to see what's that going to look like.
No, I think that part of it's awesome, but it seems, again, it's a little weird to me that Warlock is showing up after Thanos.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know how that's tying in. So that's my big question.
Business is business. But I think what they're doing is just beginning to introduce the cosmic saga as a whole.
So,
and this with Captain Marvel and Marvel is awaited.
I've got zero problems as long as they're moving towards Annihilation.
Yes, and that's what I think. That's what I think they are doing, like towards Annihilus. Although now Drax is going to probably get taken off the table.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. Maybe we'll finally get the Nova Corps then in that case.
We need some Richard Rider in our lives.
Mm-hmm. Because, eventually, if we're moving towards Fantastic Four and Galactus and obviously we need stuff like that, so.
We just need Silver.
We got to get the Surfer in here. But I think it looks good. I think it looks like a satisfying conclusion to the trilogy. I'm glad that he got to come back.
It's the first movie from Marvel that I really, really looking forward to. The first one in a while, I should say. First one since Endgame, I'm really looking forward to.
Well, we chatted about it, Matt, as far as I think part of the success of Guardians was that nobody was expecting anything walking into that one.
Everybody I've ever talked to said that they walked in there with no expectations or very low expectations, and that's exactly what I did. And
yeah,
I fell in. I mean, his way of storytelling is very enjoyable, but I think James Gunn's superpower is taking B, C, D list characters and making them relevant and fun. Because Peacemaker, who would have thought that Peacemaker was as good as it was, or moving forward, it was actual character.
Or taking Vigilante and making him the comedy,
the
comedy bit in the show when his actual book. If you paid attention to the books even before that, which very few people probably did, it is not a comedy book at all. I believe at the end of the book, he ends up killing himself because he justice.
He avenges everyone, and then realizes there's one murderer left.
Right, and then he kills himself.
The gun in his head, and
he gave that character a character, just like Bloodsport.
Yes.
First showed up in Superman. There was not a character there, and he makes it something. He crafted something out of nothing.
Which is
Polka Dot Man. Jeez.
I do love Polka Dot Man, but he made it work on screen, which I didn't think he could do.
I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, but it works. I mean, do you think Guardians, he's elevated from D and C list to, B plus, I'd say. Everybody knows Groot.
Just as from the store perspective, Guardians came out 2 weeks ago, right? They did a reboot of number 1 for Guardians of the Galaxy, and I can guarantee you, if not for James Gunn creating those movies years ago, we wouldn't have had the number of polls or any interest in all.
Yes.
And Groot came out today, or yesterday, rather. Day before yesterday, rather. Sorry. Groot came out this week.
It's really important that you nail that down.
And Peach Momoko did a cover for that is just, wonderful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, I don't know if I don't remember a time before the Guardians because it feels like forever ago now, but I definitely remember that there were times before.
Well, they've
popular.
rebooted a couple times. Was it 2018 reboot of Guardians of the Galaxy? I went all in, man. I bought the 1 in 100 and everything, and
yeah, I mean, it's a totally different lineup.
Yeah.
It's almost unrecognizable from the.
Well, I never understood that. I never
70s.
understood why they didn't try to continue some of the storylines within comics or expand the storylines with it. Because when I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I didn't know a whole lot about them. I never really read them when I was younger, and I tried to grab every book I could, and none of them had the lineup. None of them were. I mean,
I think it was the Abnett run before they came together in the movie form, right?
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, because there was an attempt in the late '70s and mid-late '70s didn't really sell, and then again in the '90s didn't really sell. So I think Abnett came in with like Tabula Rasa and just kind of took it as a chance to do his own thing. Like Drax had been around, in a different incarnation, and so did Groot and Rocket in other ways. And then I think he just made his own lineup, and he found some magic, as Dan Abnett always does. Dan Abnett, by the way, is one of the unsung heroes in comics and literature. He wrote the Warhammer books too. In addition to like all these great comics, his Red Sonja is amazing. So and he wrote Groot that came out. Yesterday. No, the day before yesterday.
No, Wednesday.
So I think the Guardians have gone like they've had a tumultuous publishing history, and then again in 2014 when the movie came out, I had low expectations, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And he then I see this incredible space opera.
Yeah.
It had comedy, it had heart, it had action, and it's like 3 different movies in one. You got a heist film, you got a prison break film, you got a team film. Like, it's great. Plus, Lee Pace is Ronan the Accuser.
And I felt like
he does very, very little accusing in the film. So.
I feel like visually that was on another level at the time too.
Oh yes,
none of the other movies looked that good.
No,
well, especially when they actually travel in space. It's
like nowhere when they had the
but it's a lot of purple in the background. It's a lot of really colors and.
It was Marvel early days, so there's still some auteur, like Favreau's Iron Man looks like a Favreau film. Joss Whedon's film looked like this looked like a Gunn film. Whereas now, whatever you think of it, I still love the Marvel movies, but they're starting to seem like episodes.
Yes, there's more synergy between.
It's more
probably a very well-oiled machine by now. Anyway,
more of a producer's movies now than the director's, with the exception of Doctor Strange 2, which does have that
felt Raimi-ish
flavor. So.
For sure.
So yes, that's a review from 3 people who have not seen it yet, but I think it's going to be pretty good.
Anticipate this to be fantastic.
We're excited. I mean, that actually does lead into the actual topic that we were going to discuss, which is Free Comic Book Day, which for those of you who don't know, there is a history there. There's reasoning and there are, rules and things behind it. So Free Comic Book Day actually started May 4th, 2002. The gentleman that is credited with starting it is a guy named Joe Field. He was a store owner out in California, and he had the idea of having hey, why don't we just have a promotional day for comic books and for comic book awareness and get people into stores and things like that. And then this part I didn't know until I actually looked it up is Image Comics, Jim Valentino, one of the original founding members, had the idea to actually place it in May, like the first weekend in May, because that was immediately following. The first one took place the day after Spider-Man #1 hit theaters. So it's typically been that first weekend in May to coincide with a large superhero first summer kickoff film, which this year is obviously Guardians, and that's why we were discussing it.
It's That's very cool. Do you remember? Did you see the first Spider-Man in theaters? Just since we're on Raimi.
Absolutely.
So
I did too.
Yeah, it was a great time. It's hard to believe that this podcast started just a week after the first Spider-Man dropped.
We've been doing this for years.
Seems like only months.
But like Guardians, when I saw the first Spider-Man movie, I didn't have any expectations because comic book movies at the time were not generally good.
Yeah, you had Blade and X-Men to go off of, and you know they were good, but Spider-Man was and also
It was fun.
It was a
a fun
Raimi
movie.
film, and I'm like, I love Sam Raimi, but boy, can he handle a $200 million? Well, at that time, it was $120 million vehicle,
Right.
vehicle, yeah. And again, and it feels like a Silver Age movie. It has that, and besides the Macy Gray cameo, I have 0 notes for that movie. I love it.
I forgot she was in there.
Oh, I can't.
I try to say goodbye.
Man.
Yeah, that was during the parade, right? She's
Yes, yes.
like ducking out of the way or whatever it was. Yeah, I remember
and,
now.
Yeah, and it would have been fine. Like Goblin would have thrown a pumpkin bomb at it.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so I didn't realize that the Free Comic Book Day coincided with mostly a major release each year.
Yeah, in that first year, I'm going to give you a little bit of details as well. There were actually 4 books that were released, and the original one was May 4th, 2002, which I'm sure there was a problem with the Star Wars folks in that year. There was a bit that, coinciding with the May the 4th and the Revenge of the 5th and that whole business, which they've taken 2 days now for the Star Wars folks. But the first 4 books were, it was actually Ultimate Spider-Man 1, which is just a reprint of that 2000 issue. There was a Dark Horse Comics one-shot, Star Wars Tales, The Jedi's Weapon. Image and Top Cow actually released Tomb Raider 1.5, and the first issue of DC Comics Justice League Adventures were the first 4 books. And that is crazy to think about now because we're getting ready and we're going to set up tables and put all of our books out for tomorrow, Matt. And how many books are we looking at?
A lot. But I can say that it's weird that they went from 4 books to 42 books this year that were orderable.
Yeah, it's
getting out of hand a little bit.
42, and not only that, but like now some of those books turn into keys, which
Yes.
is strange. Yeah,
That's
There's
the weird
first
part.
Appearances. There's things that like you need to get the story going. Yeah.
So last year's was Bloodline,
The Daughter of Blade.
Daughter of Blade.
Daughter of
Yeah,
Blade.
yep.
Yes.
In the Avengers X-Men crossover book.
Yep. The Bone Orchard preamble.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was all kinds of cool stuff. Like last year was the entire first Barbaric issue.
No, and that's what I was gonna say is like, and you were like, here, have this, it's free and it's awesome, and it did exactly what I think Free Comic Book Day is supposed to be. It's like, get people into something new.
It's not quite free though. The books are free to you. They're free to everyone else.
It was free to me, and then
We pay between 18 cents and 36 cents a book.
You
I
guys
guess.
don't know this, but I stole so much that day too. So you guys lost a lot.
So much money.
It was.
What you don't know is we knew that, so we were
But
just
then
giving it to you.
They were picking my pocket. It was but I like that though because there were like 2 or 3 books that I ended up pulling after that.
Yes.
because they were there. It's
And
like,
that's the purpose
what
of
the
it.
day's for.
They've been. I can't say that they're spot. Sometimes they're really good, and what they do is they encourage readership for either series coming out. Like this year, for instance, Night Terrors, the very first thing for Night Terrors starts tomorrow with getting that book for an upcoming event. Other times, like Barbaric, it was like Barbaric had already wrapped by Free Comic Book Day as far as the first run, and they were already on the second run, and that was an issue of the first one where it was like, hey, go back and start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting for a strategy because that can either make it so that if it's too far removed, you can't go back and actually find the issues. So there's some frustration
Here's
there.
one while we're on issue 25.
Yeah.
But that one was easy enough, and it was like a small publisher vault.
Yes.
So like good.
But I mean, trades and stuff like that, you can still find them in collected editions and whatnot. But then the big one is it, to your knowledge, is that Umbrella Academy book still the highest Free Comic Book Day as far as collection and value and things like that?
It is because it was a first appearance of the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, free Umbrella Academy is
There's
still overpaying.
It's either that and there's a Spider-Man title. I can't remember what it was. That's
It was like a Spider-Man Venom book or something
like a $25 or $30 book.
Yeah.
The first appearance of Simon Baz, Green Lantern, was 2012 Free Comic Book Day. Yeah.
So they actually, it's pretty smart the way they do handle things like that because then you have people that are already there every week that want to get those free comic books because they do have those appearances and they have connections. And then they have other people where the free price point's enough to get them curious enough to at least walk through the door.
Get you in the door.
What I also didn't know till last year, and we found out the hard way, was that libraries actually participate in it.
Yes.
And wouldn't you know it, the shop is right next.
Two doors down from a library.
I know. That was a painful. That was painful.
Because I think we probably ordered at least 5 to 10 times the amount of books that we needed just because we completely didn't. I had no idea.
We went into it with so much enthusiasm and
And the place was humming that day.
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It was. It just.
it's one of the biggest days of the year at the register. So yes.
It was insane as far as the amount of people and still the amount of books we had left over. It was
If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Libraries are just the worst thing that this society has going.
so I don't know why anybody would want to go there.
Oh, my God.
It's
We've
awful.
got to do something to stop the menace.
I do. One of the things I love about Free Comic Day is that we actually can get books into kids' hands because most books are priced out of kids' range now.
Yeah.
Most kids can't. I mean,
Price out of my rate.
the Batman title this week was $6.99. So it's just
Triple sized, double priced, but still it's a little steep.
it's hard for kids to come down and get books like that. So I'm glad that we can try anyway.
Well, and we've already had engagement from people like, parents and grandparents saying that, so-and-so wants to come in and grab them. And then I've got friends that are coming and bringing their kids that typically, would.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool, more or less, it's the comic book store Super Bowl. And it's just a party. It's
Except
fun.
everyone's a winner.
Right.
What I didn't realize, though, was that the color code of...
Yeah, we can actually discuss those too.
They told me this just before the podcast, and I thought this was... I'm fascinated by this kind of stuff.
So for those, actually, Matt, you got the books in front of you if you want to go over them.
So they have 3 basic color codes, and then all the titles will say Free Comic Book Day on the top. And if it's green, it means it's all ages. If it's a blue, it means it's a teen book, and if it's red, it is for mature audiences only.
So
And it's prevalent on the cover. They're all on the very top of the cover, so parents can see what kids. I mean, if they knew that, they can see what kind of kids, what books their kids are getting.
And this will be extremely helpful for those of you that are going to Free Comic Book Day in 2024, since this episode will actually drop the day after Free Comic Book Day. So keep that in mind in 2024 when you're going out and grabbing those books, people.
We're going to hook you up next year.
I do like that the one in front of me for everybody is the Overstreet Guide to Collector Comics 2023, which is just so anachronistic.
Yes.
So,
But it's an actual comic book, though. It's not even like tables and graphs.
But but did you see it? It's about collecting.
Yes.
It's like an action.
Well, there's a bunch of different interconnected
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah. Oh, and then so then this one's labeled Umbrella Academy, and those are the ones not to buy for anybody. It's not the worst. It's just close.
So I thought it was interesting. I've got some actual numbers from Free Comic Book Day, and it's steadily grown larger and larger as far as interest. And these are the numbers according to Diamond. In the inaugural year, there was over 2,000 stores that participated, and they gave away more than 2 million books from 4 different publishers. The following year, so from 2002 to 2003, and 2003, 29 publishers decided to go at it instead of 4. And so that was a huge jump as far as publishers, and it stayed steady from there. And then Free Comic Book Day 2012, judging by numbers, it was more than 1 million people attended with over 3.5 million comics given away. And then jumped to 2015, 2,340 retailers ordered 5.6 million comic books to give away. So those are insane numbers, and those are still even outdated. I don't know if Diamond doesn't publish them anymore or what, but
can we look at for what we pay for the comics? Can we look at the price point and say it doesn't need to be $6.99 sometimes, because they can make them 18 cents. I know they're truncated. I know that a lot of them are going to be reprinted in other stories, but
Big wigs at DC and Marvel in their ivory tower must be pretty nice.
I'm pretty sure that the price point we get them for Free Comic Book Day is just 100% straight up the printing.
I would imagine too.
Meaning
because-
there is no publisher if we actually get them at that price.
Yachts, fancy parties. It makes me sick. Also,
Congratulations, Jim Lee.
They're they're
yeah, my man.
Jim Lee promoted to a president.
Presidente.
While we're on the topic,
Yeah.
and I think I told Craig I think it's good. I mean, creatively it's great, but also I think it's good for the a good sign for the future that DC's firmly part of the the
about
machinery at HBO.
Jim Lee again?
At
Still?
Max. Yeah. We just started.
Yeah. No, I'm super pumped.
And also to go back to the free comic book day, I mean, there's way too many publishers now.
Yeah, it gets
Lasses,
to be
Handy Dandy Comics, and
that's one for you local folks.
boy,
It does get a little interesting ordering the books because there some of the publishers are you can get them through multiple outlets through either Penguin or Diamond or Lunar. So you got to be careful where you order stuff for. I have on accidentally got the same book twice. We've had that a couple times.
Yeah, but you pay shipping for Diamond.
Yes, we don't
And
pay shipping from Lunar or
Penguin. So you got to be careful.
Pharmacy has their own comics line. Costco has their own comics line.
Walgreens are going to have their own comics line. They're going to print them on the back of receipts.
I mean, there are so many bees making sweet, sweet bee love outside the window right now. It's I'm sorry. But this is awesome. It's like free comic book day and just enjoying the dance of nature.
It's you have to forgive us, everybody. It's been absolutely terrible weather. This is the very first good day I think we've had.
We all want to go outside.
So the cool thing about Free Comic Book Day also in a town like ours is everybody. So we've got 3 different individual companies, and a lot of people were aware of it. They're gonna shop hop, and then it gives a lot of opportunities for like local artists.
Yes.
To come out and we're doing commissions as far as that goes, or they have prints and stuff they'll sell, and the other shops do things like that as well. So.
Aren't there a few friends of the store coming tomorrow to?
Absolutely.
Yes, we got Tim Barron will be here 10 o'clock tomorrow morning with Aaron Minier.
Yep.
And then in the afternoon, we're going to have Jeremy McFerrin and David McConaughey.
Yep.
Nice.
So 3 of the 4 have been on the podcast actually and spoken with us about honing their craft. So
I want Tim Barron to do a board for me with the Ninja Turtles, all 4 of them. I think it'll be
ask him. He'll do it.
Amazing.
It's only money.
It's only money.
I do like the fact that when we can that's a little way that we can help. It's a small contribution sometimes to the artist, but it helps them connect with customers and make some money too. So it makes me feel good.
It helps us a lot as well.
Yeah, it gives us
as far as like
swagger.
They well, like I said, I mean, it's a party. I remember last year, which this is our second year for everybody that doesn't know, it's going to be our second free comic book day. It just feels like I don't know. It is. It's just a party. It's like you're having a Super Bowl party. Like this year, we're going to do food. We're going to cook out on the grill.
Yes.
And we're going to have. We've got some doorbuster deals as far as some killer key issues.
How about
for extreme prices?
How about a book that's $1,100 off?
That's true.
What kind of keys do you
got? So we've got I'm sorry. It's it's Action 252, first appearance of Brainiac.
Woo. Yes, it is.
Boy.
We've got first MODOK.
Yep.
We've got that iconic Neil Adams Breaking the Chain Superman cover. Which issue is that? 5.
Beautiful cover.
Oh, that was 251.
He was like breaking it with his chest.
Something like that. Yeah, he's breaking it with his chest. Sorry, the numbers. I'm foggy on them. What's another book? What else do we got on there, Matt? As far as the doorbusters.
What else do we pick? We just went over this the other day, and I forget.
Again, it doesn't matter. By the time you people hear this, their books will already be gone.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I saw today, though, before we came upstairs to record, is there's an All-Star Squadron 23 that I've got my name on. That is the first appearance of Amazing Man, and I will be walking out with it today. Thank you.
I mean, sorry, everybody.
Good comic, yeah.
Jealous. We
Jealous
know.
Much?
Yeah. So with Free Comic Book Day, it's obviously, going by the numbers and stuff, it's increased in popularity. Do you think that's... So which do you came first? I'm going to ask a chicken or egg question. Do you think that the movies inspired somebody to start a Free Comic Book Day, or do you think that Free Comic Book Day inspired all the love for the movies?
I think it was they were trying to fall in the coattails of the movies, but I also remember the industry at that time was not... Image was hurting.
Yeah.
The numbers were all low across the board. I mean, something was needed to invigorate and get excitement and get people out to the shops. And I think that's what basically led the way, because
and the shopkeepers are always on their hustle, and they saw an opportunity, and they grabbed it. Just like, when the Guardians movie hit, I remember seeing Guardians everywhere all of a sudden at my comic book shop.
Yeah.
Wait, where?
Yeah. Like, where were these books?
Yeah, where are they?
5 months ago. Yeah. I mean, well,
that's what that's what happens. When Moon Knight, we sold a bunch of Moon Knight books.
yeah, you have to.
It's a nice synergy, I think.
Yeah. I mean, and then you have it's turned into, I guess I, previous to doing the research and things like that on this, I guess I really didn't put it together that it does coincide with the first major summer movie.
Which is cool.
But it's very cool. And then, so I just wrote a few of those down. The very first one being Spider-Man. 2003, it was before X2. 2004, it was before Spider-Man 2. I don't know what was going on in 2005 and 6, but there was no movie it was coinciding with. And that's pretty much, those are the only 2 years outside of the COVID years, because they didn't actually have Free Comic Book Day, that weren't coinciding with a movie. Because after that, it was Spider-Man 3, which Spider-Man is the only movie of those original 3 that actually had one. It was released the same day on each of those. The rest of these are all like a mixed bag. It's not like there's consistency.
Yeah. I do like it. I'm sorry. I do like that it's the first weekend in May too, because it is getting nice finally here, and it gets people out, and it tries to drive them towards stores.
Why do you guys think after X-Men 2, X-Men United, that they never made another X-Men movie? I thought the audience was there.
Hey, bub.
You're ignoring Last Stand on purpose?
I don't know what.
Days of Future Past? What's going on here?
Maybe I missed something. There could be more. No, I'm God.
I got you back, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that was atrocious. I remember
It wasn't as bad as Wolverine Origins.
You thought that was worse?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait,
No. I was thinking of the Wolverine. I agree. Yes.
Yeah, the Wolverine is 2/3.
The Wolverine is
perfect.
good.
Oh, except for the end. We've talked about that before.
2/3 perfect.
Yeah, the third act where it goes into like the village and then the Silver Samurai stuff.
Yeah,
the Chrome Samurai.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
But then we got Logan. But then we also got more bad.
Yes.
movies.
Much bad. Much bad.
Since we're on the topic.
So, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? Is Free Comic Book Day? I mean, as an attendee, Shane,
I'm excited.
years.
I thought last year was a blast, and I hadn't been to one in so long. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. Come for the free food, staying for the free food.
And don't push the kids over trying to get to your book.
No,
we'll have some more in the back for you.
Yeah, we have plenty of books. We'll have plenty of sales items. We have plenty of food. So I'm planning on it being a good time tomorrow. I keep saying all this stuff like it's going to come out. Forget it. Doesn't matter.
I hope you guys were all there.
When you listen to this, we will have opened at 10 o'clock and closed at 7 o'clock on Saturday.
This is going to be very helpful for when we replay it next year.
You guys all had a great
the last
time.
week of April.
No, they're going to be listening to this, reliving how much fun they had 2 days ago.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
This Injustice game, though.
Yeah, I know. I think we've been impatient waiting to talk about that. So last year, in September, or was it late August? Something around there.
It was June, actually.
It was June? Yeah. Good Lord. Everything's all crazy. We actually went to a gaming convention through one of our distributors, and basically it was like, think Comic-Con, but instead of being like booths where people are peddling things, all these individual tables are actually game publishers, and they all have demos up for all the different games coming out in the near future. Or in this case, not so near future. It actually
We've been waiting for it.
We've been waiting for it for about a year. But so I forget what it was. Was I working in? So yeah, you went and I was working in the shop, and I came afterwards.
Yep, and then we had Dimitri there as well, and it was funny because Dimitri found the game first, and then he just was stuck there. And then you showed up after you got off work, or you came from home or something.
I was like, "Where's Dimitri?" He goes, "He's been back here playing this damn game the whole time." I'm like, "Oh, what game is that?" And then I go back
and
there,
you sat down, and that was it for the rest of the night. You
Rather
guys
than
just sat
visiting
there.
all the booths and seeing the games.
They played one game.
That makes me excited, though. Besides the fact that it's about DC's Injustice.
And the cards are beautiful. The artwork's beautiful. It's just a well put together game too. And Cryptozoic makes a bunch of other games that are.
They're cool.
They made the Dark Knight, the Batman, the Dark Knight game, and some other games we have. But
So basically, and it wasn't that bad. I think we did Onslaught. We played a few
Yeah,
other ones, but
yeah.
we spent the majority of our time here because the guy was cool and chill. And then it was also a lot of the other games were demos, but this was fully formed.
Yep.
It was the entire game. It was a game in its entirety, so we could actually get a really accurate view on it, which I think is what kind of drew me towards playing it as much as we did. So we'll take this opportunity to talk about Injustice itself a little bit, and then we'll talk about the game. The fact that it's called Injustice is they have multiple versions of this game. So they've released previous versions that were different themes. This one is just the Injustice theme, and it's based off of the Injustice characters. So
from comics and video games.
Yeah.
Like Shazam versus Batman kind of thing.
yeah,
From the original video game, which spawned a comic book that Tom Taylor wrote that we've talked on many occasions had no business being good, let alone
phenomenal
kind
as
of
it was.
great.
Yes, it actually was.
Yeah.
So for those of you that aren't familiar with Injustice, it's actually pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine Superman trying to murder everyone.
Well,
I mean, the base.
You said about the game, it was like Mortal Kombat with the DC characters. That's
Yes.
perfect. And
Yes.
like, who wouldn't want to play that? And then, but then it's like, well, what's a story to make a comic book out of it? And then,
So the story is that for whatever reason, Joker and Harley are in Metropolis with shenanigans, and they kidnap Lois, and the Joker, his flower, the Joker, the Joker serum toxin, he laced it with kryptonite, and it made him hallucinate to think. So he hallucinates and he sees Doomsday, flies Doomsday up out in space to leaves him there, and then the effect wears off, and he finds out that Joker just tricked him
Into killing.
Lois. And before that, spoiler alert, he had just found out. She told him that morning that, or no, he found out obviously because he heard 2 heartbeats that she was
Yes.
pregnant.
Yes.
yeah. A real end of 7 moment there.
Yeah, so this is like the first
What's in the box?
10 minutes of because it went beyond that because it was the game. They also did the animated adaptation. I forgot about that.
Yes.
They did
Yeah.
it animated, and they did the comic book series. So basically after that, and it was really weird and it was hard to watch because in a weird turn of events, Batman then picks up the Joker and basically tries to take him downtown. We need to get him in jail. We need to protect him, whatever else at all costs. He's trying to hide him from Superman more or less because he's scared of what might happen. And then
And Superman becomes a despot. And like we talked about before, Wonder Woman just needs that
oh my God,
first clue. Like, okay.
the first domino falls and Wonder Woman is
Wonder Woman's
more than
all
willing.
in. I got a sword. Who do I have to chop? Yeah. Is in the Injustice cartoon, is Black Canary as badass as she is in the series?
Black Canary is always as badass.
My goodness,
She is.
I loved it so, man. Just for Black Canary, just telling off
because
doing her.
there was a few factions that had split off. So Batman, this is a story where Batman always stays like a moral compass.
Yeah.
But he has to go underground essentially just to
Yes.
survive. Him and like a small Minutemen group, and they have to constantly move around.
Because it starts off Superman doesn't go full dictator initially. He's to make a speech saying, hey, there will be no more wars. I'll put a stop to it. There will be, he goes full fascist, but
And
he's
Batman
not
sees the writing on the wall real quick.
yes, but he doesn't act on it. At that point, it's just speeches that you don't expect out of Superman, and it kind of made my skin crawl a little bit.
Yeah, it's nobody likes to see that.
Yeah. And it progresses further and further and further as more people start to be like, yeah, this isn't what we want to deal with.
And eventually Superman goes full, worldwide,
Yes.
desperate.
Worldwide.
And Batman and his team have to fight the battles they can. Seeing Superman talk like that, though, it's like, it's like going in, like you're a kid and you walk in and you see your dad staring in the mirror speaking Latin to himself. It just gives you a feeling like, I never want to feel that again.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable. And the thing is, it was honest. I can honestly say it was uncomfortable in all 3 mediums. I hated it when I watched it in the animated show. I hated it in the comic because it has the same effect, and I hated it in the game. I mean,
But in the card game,
Yes, but in a card game, I guess it's not. It's
Yes, then it's real good.
We can just get down to the fight.
Everybody,
So
can you pick who you play?
yes, so you have basically with the game is you choose a hero, and it's not. When I say you can pick, it's not like a universal like choose whoever you want.
You can pick Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Harley, the Flash, the main characters. You can
Okay.
Like the main heroes or villains, whatever else.
A lot of good there.
Within like there's Joker. There's different people you can pick there.
Do you think they'll expand that, or
There are expansions like already, so that's how they make it and they build it out. So most, and I don't know how you guys feel or if you've even played a bunch of them, but most card games for me, the discouraging part is when you have to build a deck. It's basically either buying packs or buying individual cards, trying to create a deck for something to play. And I'm not in so deep on any game that I know exactly what deck I want to build. So it's like a weird nebulous thing. And there's always that buy more cards, buy more cards, buy more cards element to it. The thing that I like the most about this is it's completely self-contained. Like you buy the Injustice Gods Among Us game, and all of the cards in order to play up to 4 players are already present. There's nothing else to buy.
That's cool.
So it's not like go back, buy packs, go back and buy packs.
so this is a good first game too? Do you think for people?
Yeah.
trying to get into the.
If you want to get into like things like Magic, if you want to get into things like Pokemon.
Yeah. Okay.
And the good thing about this is this came out this week. It's the first printing, and in this box you get the Sinestro promo, the oversized character card, and you get a promo super move card. So you get something for getting in line first, basically.
Yeah.
This was cool.
I think games typically take about, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You can get through a single game. But what we noticed and what we picked up on very quickly when we were playing it is that you could very easily have an entire night where you play like 16 people tournaments. And you could have 4 tables of 4. And then you eliminate two until you get down to
That's so cool.
tables. Yes,
Tournament play.
and you can play through that way. And there's certain strategy involved.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. And that's kind of cool how it's set up like that because there are some strategies. It's not smart, so you kind of have to figure out your play style. Like I love Harley, but Superman was better suited to my play style of what I liked to do in the game because there are like skill cards, there are like power cards, there are different types of cards that you use. And depending on your style of play, you may not want to pick Harley just because she's your favorite. You might be more suited to playing as Joker. Or you can set it up where you can have the actual player cards hidden from people where they have to like randomly choose one. You could do it like a blind.
Yes.
Like in a tournament type situation, whatever, and you don't know who you're going to get. So there's benefits to playing this game time and time again, getting used to each character and their play style so that you know which cards to pull. Some characters are naturally better at fighting other characters as far as like the abilities. Like if I recall with Superman, and forgive me because it's been about a year, I think there was something where once you got to a certain power level, I got like strength back or something. Like I would actually gain hit points.
You got to charge your meter to unleash devastating super moves, impossible moves.
And some of the super moves do damage, but other ones, depending on who you are,
To me, it sounds cool because it's like you're like, oh, and then the Flash can do this, but then
Yes.
Catwoman can do this. It's just like chilling and talking superheroes anyway.
it is a perfect, just having like snacks and drinks, whatever else, super casual. Like I fully intend to take this home, and my wife and both of my boys, which are, 14 and 11, can play this, and we're all like on equal footing. But it's not that it's not dumb. It's just that it's easy to pick up.
Yep.
And you can just get going like pretty quick. So,
And lucky you, we are going to be playing it hopefully this weekend. I'm talking about the week that the podcast comes out. Either Saturday or Sunday, we're going to have an open tournament day or open day to come in and play with us.
yeah, so that'd be a good opportunity to come and check it out and see if you actually like the game. But we've got $45 on it, and that's all in. Like I said,
$44.99. So it's not going to break the bank.
And that's 100% all in. Like that's all you would pay, and then you've got the entire game. And then there are it's like a DLC, like
Downloadable
content type thing where you can add additional characters and cards and things like that. So it's expandable, but you're not cracking packs open and cracking packs open and cracking packs open constantly trying to get the card that you want or trying to get foils of them or whatever else. It's already
I'm looking here, and you can play Black Canary, and I pick her because what's her weakness? Somebody cramping her style.
exactly.
That's it.
That's the only thing.
This looks awesome.
Otherwise, she's just indestructible.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, above and beyond the game, to focus more on the comic, which was surprising, to say the least. Tom Taylor wrote
Yes.
the shit out of that.
Yeah, it very much seemed like a pawned off assignment. You know, I could be reading it wrong, but it's like he wasn't big at the time, and then he took this thing that was just a
Yes.
fighting game,
Yeah.
and he
Yes.
turned it into this epic, this sprawling epic, working in all the characters, and now he's proven that as far as DC Elseworlds tales go, there's nobody better.
Dark Knights of Steel. Yep. And
Deceased.
I mean, I personally like it when they turn the character inside out and upside down. So anything where Superman is the antagonist, you know, it piques my interest right there.
Yeah.
But this was written so well that it should have been. I mean, it could have been a mainline
It
book.
went on for years, and I'm assuming it was supposed to be a
5 or 6 seasons. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
there are legitimately how many hardcovers? I mean, short of just the issues even.
I've got 2 Omnis, and the Omnis run well over 1,000 pages each. So,
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of source
to say.
material.
did you say when you were at did you say you played Onslaught? Was that the X-Men Onslaught game?
No. It was Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, because I was gonna be like, what? Did you play it for 2 years and then leave dissatisfied? Dungeons and Dragons Onslaught.
No, that was a that was like
That
a,
sounds cool. Then
no, it was a skirmish type game. So it was so imagine Dungeons and Dragons, but rather than having it takes all kinds as far as Dungeons and Dragons. Some people like the world building and the adventure part and all of the other stuff. Some people really enjoy the combat, right? As far as like getting into a situation and then strategizing all that. Onslaught is basically pre-made campaign spots where it's just the combat
Jumping
portion.
right
You walk in
Jumping
and
right into the combat.
You walk in and you got to smack it around.
So, but there's there's expansions. It comes with the minis. It's a very, very, very cool game. Like that was one of the ones that we demoed there.
Yes.
And we spent time with that. We spent time with this.
And then what was the tree game that?
Yes, that's what I remember.
It's like a it opens up like a book, and it's like it's all folded together, and it was beautifully made, and it was.
We're gonna forget.
it's like a Chris Ware comic.
Dimitri will know what it is, and I'll know as soon as we quit here. But we had the chance to demo. I think it was like 53 or 54 games, and out of all those games, this stood at the top.
Yeah, I mean, as far as
This BattleTech and Onslaught, I think, were the 3 best.
yes,
there.
because that was what was
Yes.
what was the set that was coming out at the time?
Well, it still is coming out. It's the Alpha Strike.
Alpha Strike. There you go. Yep.
I didn't realize these were the guys that made the Dark Knight Returns game either. So that's
Yes.
cool. That's very cool.
Well, to be honest, I didn't know until I went because what I know them for are their vinyl statues.
Yeah, which I bought a couple of them when
Yeah.
the show was done.
Because they've got like those little chibi style like Harley Quinns.
Oh, they're the
But
ones
they got
that
the
do that.
Harley and the Catwoman. Like
Yeah. Okay.
So and then they, my first exposure to them is they do like I think it was like a Halloween. Like they do like limited edition. Like they come in these little canisters and they got like a limited edition Harley Halloween only release, and they were like released. They only do like 200 or 300 of them. They're like
get
super.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was years ago.
They're rocking that DC licensing.
Yeah.
It's great. Did you guys want to then talk about Lacana or not?
Lorcana.
Lacana. Sorry.
Well, Lorcana has been both of our lives.
while
it has
we're
been
there, it just seems like
all consuming because,
I don't even know what to talk about as far as that goes.
and I don't know if we should. We are seeing some weird problems on the front of this where we have not been here for a game of this magnitude dropping, but
the Disney card game.
yes, the Disney card game Lorcana, which
this
is
summer, which even my interest is peaked on.
August 18th
Yep.
is when it's supposed to be.
yes.
So, without getting into numbers, we set it up for pre-order 2 weeks ago now, and we sold. I would say safely we've sold at least 100 or 200 times what I thought we would.
It's going to be massive.
Yes.
We've heard from our distributor that typically, these are just example numbers, by the way, people. Let's say that you have 1,000 stores that are your clients. He was saying typically like 500 of those stores would order like Pokemon cards, right? Or like 500 would order Magic, being that that's the metric because they offer all kinds of things. They offer board games, other.
They were the ones that
card
were putting
things.
on the
They were the ones putting on this
Games Expo
convention, the Games Expo. Yeah. Our rep said that 95% are ordering Lorcana, whether they ordered the other card games or not. So Lorcana, if you've not heard of it, is Magic the Gathering, but with Disney characters more or less.
Bam.
Yes. So this is going to have
That's an elevator pitch right there.
It's going to have the collectability that comes with Disney. It's going to have the Magic players. It's going to have the Pokemon players. It's going to have kids because it's Disney. It's going to have old women because it's Disney. It's going to have everyone.
Wine moms are going to love it.
The wine moms are going to come stumbling down in here.
So the very first release or promotional release was D23 this year, which is the big Disney conference where they front load like all the excitement and things about things coming out. So D23 previous conventions, they released like the very first Mandalorian Funko Pop, and that went on to be, a super huge collectible item. Well, this year they released, I think it was like you didn't get to choose, you just got a card or something like that, but they had like 3 or 4 different individual Lorcana cards, like it was a promo thing.
Yes.
I've seen them on eBay going for no less than $5,000 to $10,000.
That is insane.
But
those are exclusive to D23.
Those are exclusive to D23, as in like you will not be able to get them in any other way. So, again, and then also they were already graded in like gem mint condition and things like that. But still, that's to tell you like the hype.
The storm is coming.
Market.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The storm is coming because we have it.
We've got tons of pre-order. We're concerned actually if we're even going to be able to get the cards, so we're not even taking pre-orders anymore, really.
No, because I just raised the prices because we kept raising the prices because we didn't know what we were going to get, and the people kept buying it. But they are, the one thing is the cards are beautiful too. I've seen all the artwork in the cards. They are great, great things. But we were not,
we weren't prepared.
In the last 12 days, we've become basically a Disney Lorcana website. That's all we are.
Hey, as soon as they get Scrooge McDuck as a playable character, I'm there. I'm jumping in.
No, I think honestly,
it looks awesome.
We looked into it. We've looked at like how the play works. We've submitted our application to become an organized play store, so we'll hold tournaments and things like that. And I guess, Matt, just a little bit for an aside, like we can talk about it. Like so the day it was available for pre-order, which I guess at this point is like a month and a half, 2 months already.
It was
something like that.
It was a while. It was 3. Yeah, it was 4 weeks ago.
But there was zero details, meaning we said, hey, we want this many boxes, not knowing how much it costs, not knowing how many cards are in it, not knowing any information.
Yes.
And then 2 weeks ago at the D23 thing or wherever they released the info, the prices come out so that we have some idea and some gauge of what it's going to cost and what it's going to cost on the suggested manufactured price.
Basically, for just a draft booster deck, their MSRP was basically $2 more than what Magic is. So it's not terribly expensive, but it is considerably more.
Pricier. But you got to pay for that Disney license somehow, I'm guessing.
Yep.
So fast forward to, I'm like, oh, cool, pricing. And I, like, on a Sunday night, innocently put it up. I'm like, I'll throw it up here. And by the time it actually comes out in August, people have had some eyes on it. Maybe we'll sell a few packs. And instead,
we sold 30 booster boxes
and insane amounts, like from the word go. So then we call the distributor and I'm like, hey, we're not going to have a problem getting these boxes, right? And it's like, we have no idea how many boxes even exist.
Don't take pre-orders.
Yeah, don't take pre-orders and everything like that.
Thanks for that after the fact.
So not to get too inside baseball on it, but this is the first time that
we're here at the ground floor of these cards coming out. We're trying to make it a part of us too, but this is looking to be ginormous.
Massive. Like,
and it's not going to be like Magic where it takes 30 years of nerds playing it. It's going to come out of the box. I'm guaranteeing it's going to be sold out within that first week.
Well, it's genius because they're piggybacking off all of those years of people playing games like this. And all they did was just like, oh, you like Tinkerbell, do you? And then that's it.
Yeah.
It's game over. Like,
Magic, Pokemon. Well, how about this? How about Maleficent?
Yeah.
and they came running, so.
Yeah, it's been fun though. And I have no idea. This is a strange turn for this. Like we're just talking about card games, but it's
well. The weird
fun.
thing is, and me and Craig have talked about this a couple times. Is it's so weird to us that they can't guarantee or they have no idea how much this stuff they're getting. And on the comic side, we have the thing called final order cutoff, which is usually at least a month before the comic comes out, and I have to order them by them because they print how many I order.
And then a little bit of overage for damages just in case, or things like that. But
and that's how comics are priced
week in, week
printed.
Out. Yep.
But for this, we have no idea if we're going to get 3 booster boxes or 100.
So we were able to pre-order 6 months ahead of time, and we probably won't have insight until 2 days before the game actually launches.
The final order cutoff for this Lorcana isn't even here yet.
For 2 more months.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
And so we thought that, hey, what if, we had our order in the first day thinking that, well, if we're first in line, blah, no.
Yeah. Oh, we're good. Yeah.
All we hear is and I'm doing air quotes, they do it as fairly as they can.
Yeah.
That's all they'll say. They won't tell us how they allocate anything.
Did you tell them that I wanted some?
I did.
Yeah.
And they
my
said,
name in?
Yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
okay.
We said, I'm like, oh yeah, I did the trick, like, in the Vegas hotel.
How you do?
I was like,
Just drop it.
You put, the 20 in between, like Shane Pace's business card,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope that greases the wheels a little bit.
It's a reverse trick. It's your business card outside of 2 separate 20s.
Yeah.
For that trick,
Can't hurt.
So, but also I'm going to give background on this. I don't want it to turn into or devolve into us just complaining about the supply chain on this. Like,
we just don't understand the mechanics of it, and they won't really explain it. But
it's weird, but it is a very exciting thing because there are details that we do know, which are very exciting for this. For instance, they are releasing cards like quarterly. So there's a fall
every 3 months.
So there's a fall 2023. There's going to be a winter 2023. There's going to be a
spring
24, and so on and so forth. So, and then all of those are actually, there's not going to be, as of now, at least the plan is there's not going to be any throwaway decks. Like they will all be regulation. Like you can make decks in that way. You don't have to like worry about like this year, things switching over and your cards becoming obsolete.
All cards play.
Right. The other cool thing that we were super excited about, and this is just to tell people, because in case you want information or if you haven't heard anything about it, this is the first game that I'd actually heard of where comic book stores like us or game stores have a month's head start.
First in line, and then there are stipulations. A store cannot sell tobacco products or any weapons.
Yep.
Then there knocks them out. So I don't understand how Walmart or Meijer or Target will sell these in the end.
That's for organized play. I think all the stores can sell them, but you cannot.
Oh, okay.
That makes more sense. You have to have a bath. So
makes sense.
But even the fact that they were selling a month ahead of time was super exciting because most of the time what ends up happening is all of these places get the cards at the same time. And if you're Target, no matter what, you're going to get more boxes of these cards because there's just more of those stores.
Plus, they have a bigger bank account.
They have a bigger bank account and so on and so forth. So when we very first heard about this, we're like, what? We get a month head start. That's incredible.
And we thought at the time, hey, we could probably sell 3 or 4 booster boxes in that time. And
at least.
No. I got to say that it has been a little bit, I've had some anxiety problems in the last week or so because as the number on all these different cards and sets keep going up, we keep hearing the damn ding of my phone seeing somebody in Mississippi spent $900 on Lorcana cards at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's been happening all day, every day. And it's exciting, but it's also nerve-wracking because now we have to hold on to this money because we have no idea if we are going to get the cards. But
yeah.
I've had anxiety the last few weeks too because of my debilitating night terrors. Hey, I don't want to be a downer after that, but I know you guys think, hey, they're on a comics podcast, they've got to be rolling in dough. But I've got a job and I gotta get to mine, so I'm gonna jump off.
And I got to set up for Free Comic Day tomorrow, which will be next year for you people.
That's how we record this podcast. We're on the go. We're making moves. Things are happening.
We're always reactionary.
Always, it's in the world.
But we wanted to take a chance to put an episode together this week. We do have a lot of work to do, but we wanted to at least give a short episode and get it out there. But for those of you that are going to Free Comic Book Day, have a great weekend. For those of you going to see Guardians, have a great weekend. And if you are looking for a game to play, pick up Injustice by Cryptozoic. It's a blast. $44.99. We've got it here at the shop. If you're here this weekend, we'll have them for you. That should do it.
We
for
hope
us.
you had a great time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.